And good morning and welcome to the Texas Real Estate Show. And here we are on this bright and wonderful morning over in Houston, Texas. And as always, my good buddy, Mr. James Lee.
Good
of
morning.
Lee Group Loans.
Or
How
good
you doing, buddy?
afternoon, shall I say? Good afternoon.
Yeah, it is noon. It
Yes,
is noon.
sir.
And we
We
just
are
had
here.
one of our meetings over at Olympian, which has been very interesting this morning.
Very spirited meeting
Yeah,
this
very
morning.
spirited
yeah,
meeting.
we enjoy it. We're trying to get some of those guys on the show. So stay tuned. Keep watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, so we can keep this show going and get some the good content on here for you.
Yeah. And what we'd like to discuss this morning is Hurricane Ian. It's recently been noted that there's unfortunately been 110 deaths, and there's still 300,000, still without power. And they reckon that power will be fully restored by all accounts on Sunday.
Right.
So, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, it's unfortunate, isn't it? I mean, it's
Well, with that many people being without power, it stinks. But
when did it happen to us in Houston? 2008 was our last big one. Was it?
Oh no,
2015?
this is was it Harvey? That was 2018, 17, 18?
Because I know last time we
I think it
was
was
out.
18.
Last time we was out for like 10 days. maybe
Yeah, like
14
2
days.
weeks. It was bad, and we were
No electric, no AC.
yeah. And my community, man, we were basically kind of flooded in. So yeah, it stunk being out there.
Yeah.
Let's see when that was Hurricane Harvey. Yeah, August 17, 2017. It was a huge Category 4 hurricane that came
Yeah.
upon.
And
here,
one of
so-
my memories of the hurricane was as you drove down the street, because everybody wasn't working, even walking down the streets, was every house you'd hear a generator.
Oh yeah, yeah, and generators really kind of
If you could get one.
if you could get one. They got real popular after Hurricane Harvey around here. Price wise, it got ridiculous. But yeah, it was I think shoot Harvey they lost lives. I don't know how many Ian is claimed, but I think it was like 80 plus people that perished
Yeah.
from Hurricane Harvey. But
And it was tough. So,
Yeah.
our heart goes out to everybody. And can you scroll down a bit over it on that? So people can just. But I mean, the devastation has just been, this is, scroll down. That's the photo that hits me more than else.
oh wow,
When there's an income coming in from, being on the coast, and they're the ones that it's really hurt.
oh it says 110
Tourist
people,
trade, everything.
110 people dead. Yeah, that's a lot of folks.
Very, very sad.
Yeah.
And what we'd like to do is to dedicate this show. There should be a link below, which is basically where if you want to donate to the Red Cross, we would like you to do that. Just to help everybody in Florida. They really need some help out there, so we'd like to just dedicate the show to Hurricane Ian. And as we said, there should be a link through the Red Cross specifically for Hurricane Ian. Anyway, the second topic we're going to talk about today is solar power. And what we're basically going to talk about is the advantages and disadvantages of, any solar power. You can take that down.
Yeah.
But what we want to talk about is just solar power in general. I mean, I had a company come out the weekend to look at possibly putting solar panels on the roof, and it was pretty interesting to see what people think, to be perfectly honest, to see what his opinions were and the questions he was asking about solar power. What was our reasons for solar power? Was it because we wanted to environmental considerations, or whether was it that we just wanted to save on our electric bill.
Right.
There were so many different reasons that he gave me to go on to solar power. And we have a bit of a challenge with our house because we have a Mediterranean tiled roof, which is not in the best of conditions because we had somebody try to repair it and end up cracking the roof. So now we've got to literally change the whole roof. But basically, the solar, there really is some questions to be asked on whether it's even worth putting solar panels on your roof over in the US, because I know one of the electric companies, Reliant Energy, don't they have a plan where it's free nights and weekends?
I think several of them have some kind of plan that's is similar to
there's
that.
another one that has free air conditioning repairs with one
Something like that. They're doing all they can.
Yeah, to get that electric business, and the cost of electric has gone through the roof, hasn't it?
It has, man.
So, that's why we looked at solar power. I think we're probably going to go with solar power, but it was a really interesting process, and that's what I wanted to discuss, because they take a photo of your house from a satellite so they can work out
how they're going to put the
how
panels
big
together.
your roof is from a satellite somewhere up there. Then they can work out how many panels you need to equal to cover your uses if you want to. Now, at one time there was a program in Texas where a lot of investors were hooking onto this. So what they would do is get companies, they would fund for the solar power panels to be put on the roof, and anything in excess they would pay the landlord. And it was like a 30-year plan or something. Some landlords did it, some landlords didn't. And then they've stopped that plan now, but now what happens is there's a 30% rebate program that the state of Texas are giving you if you get solar panels. And then at the same time, there's all these incentives.
Right.
So my question to you is, James, would you ever consider solar?
I wouldn't consider solar, only because for me, my house is built in 2009, 2010.
Yeah, you live in a newer house.
So the homes are built a lot energy efficient materials, a lot more than they used to be. And then with the, of course, ability to have a generator, I could run it, my generator, for a fraction of the cost that it would be for me to install solar panels. Now, I guess the benefit would be having that solar energy being able to run. But as I understand it, even if my power is off, let's say in the city, if I run energy or try to run energy on my solar panels, it could get cut also, so I don't shock the linemen when they're trying to repair the lines, right?
And that's the thing, that one of the first things that I thought of would be an advantage to getting solar panels, but what I found out the weekend was that in the event of a hurricane, or we have something come through Houston, that the solar panels would become ineffective and the system would be turned off.
Right.
Because if they're repairing the lines, if my solar panels are working, generate electric, then somebody's going to get frizzled. So, and I just wondered what your thoughts were on having solar panels. Do you think solar panels adds value to a house?
I think it can, if it's all relative, right? So it all depends on who you're selling it to, because I know now it takes so long for them to be paid off. It's usually a long term, unless you just cash pay it. I guess you could do that. But I've had situations where we were selling the house, and the seller had to pay it off before they were able to sell, because they transfers with the home, right? So the owner has that debt and then leaving it behind. They just want to make sure that the balance is zero. But I think it can be valuable for someone that is on board with solar energy. It can be something that, just like a pool. If I get a pool, buy a house with a pool, but I can't swim, that pool really isn't that valuable to me because I'm not going to ever use it.
I've always argued with pools whether it even adds value to a house, to be perfectly honest, because with some people they don't want a pool.
Right.
They don't want their kids falling in the pool. It's
Right.
a liability.
Absolutely.
My wife was one of them. I would have loved a pool, but
Yeah.
so yeah, when we
Yeah.
bought our house,
And I think we just gotta be careful with pushing it as this grand benefit, because of course the people out there, they're trying to sell it, and I can't knock them. It's a business. But like I mentioned to you, I think it was yesterday or the day before, my mother has solar panels. She's living in a house by herself. It's just her. Um, I mean, so your energy bill can't be that much. So who convinced her that solar was going to be the issue?
right. Well, my electric bill's about 212. My last one was $221 a month.
Let me pull up my last one here. 200 and how much?
221.
Um,
And if I have solar panels, what they're doing is they're pulling in. It'll be 265 a month, but that will allow, if ever we decide to buy, an EV car or a Tesla
right.
or whatever, because we asked them to do that, to put it in. We can always add more solar panels if we want to.
So my last, I paid 268. The month before that it was 183. And I told you, I think my heavy month, in August, that was 307.
Right.
But it's hot outside, so I ran it, pretty often.
And the summers seem to be getting longer now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which isn't helping.
Absolutely.
But I just wondered and wanted to sort of, discuss on the show what your thoughts were on solar. But the gentleman that came out to see us, maybe we'll get him on the show in the future. But he was asking some interesting questions, and it was sort of giving me second thoughts, to be perfectly honest. What's your motivation to get solar? Is it because I'm thinking of of the climate, or is it because I'm thinking of saving money, or is it because I'm intending to get, an EV vehicle in the future, which is a possibility? So, it was just interesting. Anything else to report on the real estate market at the moment that you think's going on?
Well, the the market is gonna be what it's gonna be. We got some inflation reports coming out, unemployment.
When are they due out? Is that CPI?
Yeah. So we should. What's today? Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. I think we got one tomorrow. That's coming, but the jobless claims will be out. I'm waiting to see what'll happen with that, because I know there's been a lot of layoffs in my industry for people. So it just, if they start to say, oh, unemployment is lower and lower and lower, I don't know how believable it'll be for me, because we know that's not the case. But anywho, it's unfortunate that people are losing their jobs, and inflation is high, and we're short on products, so they're high. It's just kind of a perfect storm of ridiculousness going on for people. But we know it won't last forever. We've been through this before. Interest rates have been well higher than this before. And I think, as we get through this fourth quarter and into the first, we'll see some leveling out. I know that the market, and you could attest to that, the market's softening a little bit as far as home sales go. We're not seeing all of the multiple offers like we had been seeing. And I'm even getting contracts with seller contributions. So that was unheard of. That was not happening at all. So hopefully there's a turn in it, and we can.
Yeah, I think it'll flatten off, but I can't see it going down like we've said this for how long? The last 9 months.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I just can't see the market deteriorating.
I agree.
You've got experts out there saying that it's going to be a crash. It's going to be this. I can't see that happening in the Houston area. I think each area is different. But in the Houston area and south of Houston, I just can't see that happening. So, anything else to report, James? Or just
I would say make sure you stay on the ladder with purchasing. If you thought you wanted to buy a home, um, before all this madness started to happen, still buy. Even if you have to downsize on getting in there, there's a lot of products that we're kind of messing around with. These buy down products. I haven't even talked to you about that, Steve, but we're able to give you a lower interest rate for a year, and it kind of gradually goes back up to normal rates. But in that time, if the market shifts, we can refinance you to a normal deal. But I say just still go in because we still have property values at all time highs, and you don't want to get in a position to where that house that you wanted for 300,000 in a year or 2 years from now, it's 350,000 or 400,000 for that matter. Um, don't be discouraged. Contact me, and I can help you get back on the ladder if you were having any doubts about it.
Well, that's good news, and I do think that there will be programs that come out or are always made available, to try and help people because they can't afford for that
Right.
housing market to collapse like everybody says it. They think it's going to do, but it's not. It's not. So I would highly recommend James. Use James myself on a number of my investment properties and my personal home. So, highly recommend James. If you're looking to get into the real estate industry, please get in contact with me. You can get in contact with us through Instagram, Facebook, or you can call us directly. Just look us up on Google. We'll be there. That's Century 20 Olympian over in Houston. Anyway, look forward to seeing you all. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. We'll be here.
Yeah. Peace.
All right.